No matter how many adoring fans they have, pretty much every celeb has to deal with some shade every now and then. But when that shade comes from a fellow famous peer in the public eye, it's gotta feel that much colder. So today, we're breaking down the 10 craziest, shadiest moments between celebs in 2017 right here on Listed. In 2017, throwing shade pretty much became an art form for some sassy celebs, and whether the shade was deserved or not, we couldn't help but sit back and find ourselves low-key entertained by all the drama. So let's look back at the shadiest shade thrown in 2017, starting with Katy Perry to Taylor Swift. Now, Katy and Taylor's ongoing feud officially hit iconic status when Katy released her Swish Swish song, all about dissing the rival who tried to bring her down. Now, you may be like, oh no, it wasn't about Taylor. Well, with lyrics like, your game is tired, you should retire, you're about cute as an old coupon expired, everyone interpreted the song as Katy's response to Taylor's bad blood.
Your game is tired, you should retire, you're bad as cute as an old coupon expired.
And in case you were skeptical on that theory, Katy announced the release of the video by tweeting "Countdown to Catastrophe," and considering Catastrophe was the name Taylor gave her character in her Bad Blood music video, yeah, it's pretty obvious. Katy's shade game was subtle but clear. Next up is Fifth Harmony to Camilla. There was literally no subtlety in Fifth Harmony's VMA performance this year when they literally pushed a fifth member off the stage as they started their set, and everyone was talking about it because they were clearly, metaphorically, and literally pushing Camilla out of the group, and it will live forever as one of the shadiest moments in award show history, pretty much of all time.
You said I was an angel.
Next up is Diplo's shade to Taylor. Diplo took a swing at Taylor's "Look What You Made Me Do" in an interview with Rolling Stone, and Taylor fans were not here for it. He told the Mac, quote, "Streaming is literally what kids want to listen to over and over again. They want to listen to Rockstar and Bodak Yellow. They don't want to listen to like, Look What You Made Me Do. That music doesn't relate to them at all. I don't think it ever did. They were only given that by radio and marketing budgets." Well, clearly Diplo was wrong because Reputation sold 1.2 million copies in its first week in the US, so that shade didn't even reach Taylor. You do you, girl. Speaking of Taylor Swift, next on our list is the moment Taylor threw shade to herself. Now, Taylor has endured a lot of criticism over the years, with haters throwing shade about everything from her music to her personal relationships, but Taylor took the narrative back in her "Look What You Made Me Do" music video by dissing all of her former selves throughout the video.
I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative.
It was a ballsy and bold move, and it showed the world that Taylor isn't afraid to be self-aware and even a bit self-deprecating amidst all the hate. Next up is the shade thrown from Nicki Minaj to Remy Ma. Okay, now after Remy Ma dissed Nicki at the BET Awards after beating Nicki's longtime winning streak at the award show, Nicki was ready to fire back at the NBA Awards. And during her performance, Nicki performed her Remy Ma diss track "No Frauds," and everyone knew who she was throwing shade at with some of those lyrics.
She say she doing it weird. She wanna sit in my chair, but she can never be my ear.
And of course, in true hip-hop rivalry fashion, Remy Ma was not about to take Nicki's shade without throwing some back. Now, Remy could not have made her response more clear than during the performance at the Hot 97 Summer Jam, and I'll just let her lyrics do the talking for her.
To infinity.
Nicki Minaj.
Now, there doesn't really seem to be an end in sight for this hip-hop feud, but we're hoping that one day there will be so we can get an epic collab from them. Next on our list is definitely one of the more random shady moments between celebs when Steph Curry straight up dissed Rihanna's music. When a reporter asked if Riri's music had been banned from the Warriors locker room after she taunted his teammate Kevin Durant during a game, Steph replied with so much shade.
Banned Rihanna's music from the playlist or...
I don't think it was on there to begin with.
Ooh, but to be honest, if you're not listening to Rihanna, frankly, Steph, you are the one we feel sorry for, okay? Next on our list is when Eminem didn't just shade Donald Trump in a rap, he straight up annihilated the president with his lyrics. Eminem performed the freestyle rap called "The Storm" for the BET Cypher Awards, and it straight up called Donald Trump out with some of his most intense and menacing lyrics of all time.
The fact we're not afraid of Trump, walking on eggshells, I came to stomp. That's why he keeps screaming, drain the swamp, because he's in quicksand.
This shady moment was one that many people were absolutely in support of, and we are so happy to have M and his lyrical genius back. Now, this next one seems to be a little bit more of a tease than an outright diss when Halsey threw a little bit of shade at her former collaborators, the Chainsmokers, during her iHeartRadio Music Festival appearance.
I'm gonna skip right to my part though, okay? Cause my part's the better part of
Halsey announced to the crowd that she was going to skip the Chainsmokers part during her performance of Closer, saying that her part's better anyway. She seems to be joking, but some took it as a slight dig at her former collaborators who weren't in attendance to do the song with her. Last but not least, Demi Lovato had quite an incredible year with her hit Sorry Not Sorry blazing to the top of the charts and her album winning over critics and fans like me. But in between that, she also threw some shade at fellow pop star Halsey. Now, Halsey had been discussing bisexuality being exploited in pop music in an interview saying, quote, "Oh yeah, bisexuality is taboo? Don't tell your mother," or "we shouldn't do that." That narrative is so damaging to bisexuality and its place in society. Demi obviously caught wind of the article and took the comments as a dig for her lyrics were cool for the summer and tweeted, quote, "You know a song is a hit when people are still talking about the lyrics 2 years later. Hashtag shh, don't tell your mother." Demi's shade was duly noted, but many came to Halsey's defense because when you think about it, she definitely makes a pretty good point. All right, guys, that rounds out our list of the shadiest celeb moments of 2017. So now, I have to know, which moment had you on the edge of your seat and refreshing your Twitter feeds? Let me know in the comment section below. And after that, click right over here to check out Jake Paul's most controversial moments of the year. Yes, there are a lot of them. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here on Listed. I'm your host, Emil Ennis Jr. You can find me at Emil Ennis Jr. and I'll see you soon.